Coming up on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte, vehicles named after food, like this bit of history.
This one right here is actually a 2009 version of the Wienermobile.
Okay, that's one. How about this mean machine?
Cotton candy, and you can see by cotton candy it's pink.
Yes, it is. And is that a banana in your driveway? Or are you just happy to be on the show?
The easiest one is the big banana car, but the correct name of this vehicle is the Braithwaite Cavendish 4-seat Velocinana.
Yeah, sure it is. Plus,
everything that could have been on the metal has now been removed, is clean, is rust-free.
the last Hemi is back from the dipper. Hey, that's one smoking rat rod. Literally.
Evening before the show, it burned.
Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte, starts right now. Hey everybody, welcome to Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. I'm Jeff Phelps, and we have come to one of the great annual events in the entire Midwest. It is the Cleveland Autorama. Now what I like most about the Cleveland Autorama, other than of course the name Autorama, and you can't go wrong with the name Autorama, is the fact that you see absolutely everything here. From buses, to classics, to gassers, to hot rods, you name it, it's here at the Cleveland Autorama. Paul, it's a 1923 Model T. We've seen them all over the place. Millions were made. Not many are left looking like this in original condition. How about that?
Not too many of them. Of the 15 million that were made, there's roughly about 200,000 left throughout the world that are running.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow, and you've left it in original condition.
The original running condition.
And it does run.
Yeah, it's got water and everything. It's right up. All I got to do is hit the key and start. We got it in 1970 from Peninsula, Ohio, from a fella that had an article in the newspaper.
What did it look like at the time? My guess is a lot like this.
Basically just like it, as you can see from pictures I have there. It's just exactly like the license plates themselves are 45 years old on it, yeah.
Now, how old were you when this joined your family?
I was about 7 years old.
How does a young guy develop a love for the Model T at such a young age? And obviously keep it, Paul, because look at what you have set up all around it. I mean, this is your baby. You love it.
Yeah. Well, I was raised with old cars to appreciate originality and leaving things the way they were and stuff, and I realized that there's not that many of them left anymore, given the car is almost 100 years old, and I just wanted to keep it as, you know, as a nice display piece for future generations. They say it's like learning to drive all over again when you drive it. There on my mock-up there is a 3-pedal setup. The transmission stops the car and locks up the rear wheels instead of 4-wheel brakes. It's got a high and low transmission. You throttle it with your hand instead of a gas pedal. You work the spark in manually, and it's got the old wooden steering wheel and the Ooga horn. It's just neat. Yeah.
Have you done anything with it?
Nope, it's just as it sits, all just as Henry built it, 1923, except for some of the accessories, like this is a steam gauge, but I have the original cap right there, and spare tire cover, and just little things to make it, you know.
Well, Paul, I'm sure Henry would appreciate what your family and what you are doing with one of his cars.
Oh, I thank you very much, and yeah, I hope that if he was living, he would like it. Yep.
Eddie, walking through the IX Center, something will always jump out and catch your eye. Yours did.
Well, it's a Pro Street. I found it on eBay. Called a buddy of mine that lives in Arizona. He's seen it. He told me, can't say the words he used, but he said, "What are you, crazy? For that price, buy it." So I brought it back here, unfinished product, and I started doing the interior first with a little help with a couple guys, and then we did the inner fender wells. Basically had to have the front end done because it wouldn't go straight, and on a Pro Street.
That's a problem, Ed.
Right, on a Pro Street, you got to have it go straight because there's a lot of speed in this little car. Now she cruises like a rocket. I had a guy by the name of Chewy do the pinstriping for me. He's excellent. Right now, I got it pretty much the way I want it. My buddies always tease me. I put stickers on. The first thing to go on the car is my little Union 76 guy in the back. Second thing to go on the car is something nostalgic, either pinstriping or, you know, anything like that. Then the third thing that usually goes on is a little for sale sticker. But everybody tells me it's the for sale sign that I put on is basically just, it's just there because there's no price.
What's your license plate?
All right, the license plate stands for the old Nash Ramblers song. Little Nash Ramblers chasing the Cadillac down the hill. Guy in the Cadillac can't figure out why this Rambler's chasing him. Rambler goes faster and faster, and the little horn sounds beep, beep all the time. Finally, the Rambler catches up to him. I have beep, beep on the back of the car, and on the license plate it says second gear, because the guy yells out the window, "Hey buddy, how do you get out of second gear?" So it goes with the Nash Rambler song.
Al, a guy doesn't name his car unless he means business. This car means business. This is a real nice job. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir, and I appreciate that.
It's called Cotton Candy.
Cotton candy, and you can see by cotton candy it's pink. So therefore, that was the reason for cotton candy.
Did you come up with the design, or did you come up with a name and then build the car to fit the name?
I built the car first, and once it was painted, it instantly, it just jumped out at me and said cotton candy. If I'd have painted the car all pink, it wouldn't have worked. If I'd have painted it all maroon, it wouldn't have worked. But the two combinations together kind of made cotton candy.
It's a very nicely done custom.
Thank you.
Who did it?
I did it. My two hands.
All by yourself?
All by myself in a two-car garage.
In a two-car
garage?
garage?
I don't have a professional shop. I'm not a professional body man or builder. I just did that as a hobby and enjoyed every minute of it. I acquired the car, stripped it down, and then decided, number one, I wanted to do a custom, not just a regular stock car. I went to the junkyard. Every part you see on that car is off of another car out of a junkyard. I found a '59 Chrysler, and I decided to cut the taillights off the Chrysler and put them on this Mercury.
And it is a Mercury.
It is a
in name.
It is a 1956 Mercury.
With Chrysler
Convertible.
taillights.
Right. And then I found a set of Mercedes headlights that I took off of another car and put on there. So we've got Mercedes headlights, Chrysler taillights. The scoops on the side of the car are off of a Barracuda. That's the hood scoops off of a Barracuda. So we Frenched them in the side of here. Buick side trim, Cadillac hubcaps. The seats are out of a '61 Thunderbird. The console in the middle is out of a '64 Ford. The cover on the back of the car over the back seat is off of a '63 Thunderbird. So all of those parts just kind of married themselves into what you see now.
And it married beautifully, and that's the thing. I mean, I see the Thunderbird in it, and I see some of the other aspects, but it looks like it was designed that way, Al.
Well, my concept is always take a part that you think will work, tack it onto the car, back off and look and say, could that have been built or designed and produced that way, or does it look like you stuck it on there? When I did that, it looked like it could have belonged to that car originally, so I just finished it off that way.
When did you start it? How long did it take?
I started that car in '04, and it took exactly 1 year. January the 1st of '04 to January the 1st of '05.
You put it on the road?
Absolutely. 2,500 miles I'll put on the car now. This year, we're trailering to shows. We're doing 10 ISCA shows this year. But I have driven it, and plans are, after this season is over with, it's going back on the road. I enjoy driving it, and it runs like a sewing machine.
You've received a lot of recognition for this car, Al.
Yes, sir. Over the years, I've been fortunate. We've won a national class championship in 2006. We won a national ISCA class championship in 10, and it looks like we're well on the way to winning another national championship. In Dallas this year, George Barris picked this car to amplify what he would have done back in the 50s. So that was one of my best awards yet, is the George Barris Award.
Yeah, that's pretty flattering.
I like that.
Well, you, your two hands, and your two-car garage did a fabulous job. It's an absolutely beautiful car.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Ever wonder how people end up on Cruise In?
Guess you could say we cut the mustard to get here,
Yeah.
but
That works. So does this.
I've built quite a few hot rod cars, and I wanted to do something ridiculous.
Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte, goes bananas and to the dogs. Next.
Sally, Tina, Betsy, you've developed quite a bond with your classic car. Let the consignment professionals at RK Motors Charlotte make the selling process as painless as possible. Through precision marketing and large customer base, we all but guarantee a sale at maximum value, and we don't get paid until your car sells. We've sold over 1,500 classic cars here at RK Motors Charlotte, and now we'd like to get to know Betsy, at least for a little while. Visit rkmotorscharlotte.com.
Now back to Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. Steve, do I dare sound this stupid as to say, what is it?
To my knowledge, it's the world's only banana car. Now, I might be mistaken. There might be a whole club of these guys somewhere with a secret handshake, but they've never introduced themselves to me.
And you know, I would think that if there was such a thing and they had a secret handshake, they would introduce yourself to you because you drive a banana.
So, yeah, I wouldn't want to be left out of that club.
How? Where? What's
Why?
churning around in
Why
your...
is the-
Why is the
Yeah.
real question?
A moment of madness. I've built quite a few hot rod cars and I wanted to do something ridiculous. And I was in a gas station one day, just waiting to pay for my gas, and there was a bowl of fruit there. And I'd never really noticed before, but a lot of bananas, they curve at the back and then they run pretty straight. And I'm looking at one of these thinking, you know what? I could build a car that shape. And I couldn't imagine anything more ridiculous than a motorized banana. So I decided that's what I'm going to do.
When did the project start? How long did it take? When did it finish?
It took about 2 years to build the big banana car, and it was finished last summer. So I've been driving this around America just last summer, and I managed to put about 10,000 miles on it.
What did this start as, Steve?
It used to be a 1993 Ford F-150 pickup truck. What I did was I took the original 93 Ford, took off all the sheet metal. That left a nice slender frame with all the suspension and everything still attached. I then built the skeleton banana shape out of rebar, covered it with chicken wire, sprayed it with urethane foam like you insulate houses with. Then I sculpted that to a nice banana shape, fiberglassed over the top of it, and then it was in a local newspaper, and an airbrush artist saw it, a guy called Rick Willens. I didn't know him, he just called me out the blue saying, I want to be the one that paints the big banana car, I'll do it for free. So he came down and with a banana in one hand and his airbrush in the other, he made it look just like a nicely ripe banana.
Because there are green parts to it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Oh yeah, I wanted it to look about 2 days old.
Now, what did the state of Pennsylvania say when you tried to get plates?
Pennsylvania has a system where you have to go and have a specially constructed vehicle inspection to make sure that it meets all the states or the Commonwealth's requirements. And obviously I built it with all those in mind. Like the seat belts, they're not mounted to wood, they're mounted to something, to steel. The headlights are the right height, and the bumpers are the right height. The windshield is safety glass. So it met all their requirements. So through gritted teeth, they had to give me a license.
Obviously, you take it out, you drive it, it's on the road. What's the most interesting reaction, thing, whatever, that's happened to you with this on the road?
It is so hard to narrow that down. I've had so many amazing things, but I think my favorite story might be, I was driving a film crew around New York City, and there's the bus lanes in New York City that you are clearly not allowed to enter. I mean, they're a different color. The tarmac is not black, it's red, it's a different color. And this lady with the TV crew sitting right behind me said, pull over, Steve, I want to take a picture of the big banana car with the Empire State Building in the background. And I'm like, it's a bus lane, I'm not going to pull over. She says, oh, pull over, we'll do it quick. I says, Jennifer, I'm not pulling over. Right at that minute, a police car that I didn't even realize was there, it all happened so quickly, pulled up on the inside of me in the bus lane, and this police officer shouted, pull over, I want to take a picture. You asked me earlier on the name of this. It actually has two names. The easiest one is the big banana car, but the correct name of this vehicle is the Braithwaite Cavendish 4-seat Velocinana. Braithwaite is my last name.
That's your name.
Cavendish is the type of banana that this is modeled on. And
Well,
when you
sure
go to
it
a grocery
is.
store, the bananas
Sure it
that we
is.
all buy are Cavendish
Yeah, there are
bananas.
other kinds of bananas.
As you can see, it has 4 seats.
Yeah.
And it does, after all, have a powerful V8 engine and is capable of achieving a high rate of velocity. So it is the Braithwaite Cavendish 4-seat Velocinana.
Let me chew on that. No, I better not chew on it because it's a banana.
Yeah.
Now, I'm taking a wild shot in the dark. My guess is it's not your car and you don't just take it to the store to pick up milk.
No,
Am I right?
It's not our car. We do not own it. Oscar Mayer is the owner of the car, but we are the drivers, so we get to travel with it for 1 year.
Tyler, congratulations. You run the Wienermobile.
Yes.
That's very impressive. Tyler, how did this come about?
Well, the Wienermobile started back in 1936, actually, so 76 years of Wienermobile history. It started out when Oscar Mayer's nephew, Carl Mayer, came up with the idea back in Chicago. Basically, it was actually a practical vehicle that tour around the Chicagoland area and deliver meat products. So it's a unique way to say, hey, this is an Oscar Mayer hot dog or whatever meat they were taking to the grocery store at that time. Compared to the other meat companies in Chicago.
It's not cosmetic, it runs, right?
Yes,
it's on the road,
it
it's moving.
It hauls buns.
What, it does what?
It hauls buns.
Hauls buns.
Yes.
That's a little Oscar Mayer humor, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's very good. What is this thing, automotively?
It's sitting on its Chevy truck chassis, and it's a Chevy V8 6-liter engine. And then the rest is custom made. It's all fiberglass up top.
How many variations of the Wienermobile have there been, you guys?
Quite a few.
Yeah, there are about a dozen different models throughout the years. This one right here is actually a 2009 version of the Wienermobile.
And how many Wienermobiles are on the road right now?
There are 6 that are traveling on the road, and we're the East team, so we travel all the way down from North Carolina up to Maine and over to Wisconsin. We get a nice section of the country. There's 12 drivers, so there's 2 people per Wienermobile.
How do 2 nice young people end up running the Wienermobile?
Well, first of all, we're lucky dogs to be here driving around.
Thank you very much.
But actually, Oscar Mayer recruits every year for recent college graduates. So Taylor and I just finished up college last year, just graduated. Taylor from Penn State University, and I graduated from University of Wisconsin myself. So did some interviewing, applying, and here we are today. Guess you could say we cut the mustard to get here.
Yeah.
But
Oh, you're very punny.
yes, buns and buns and puns we have that we get to use on the road.
How do you drive this thing? How does this thing handle, and what kind of training do you go through to learn how to drive it?
Well, we both graduated from Hot Dog High, and so that's where they help us to learn to drive the Wienermobile. We have 2 weeks of training, so by the time we leave, we're ready to hit the roads.
How to turn and maneuver everything, because you got to get used to the turning radius and driving a very, very big vehicle with no rear view mirrors. So.
It's a pretty easy drive, though. You'd surprise yourself.
Yeah.
It does cause a lot of attention, though. You know, we get a lot of looks. Yeah.
We can pull into a gas station, not a single soul in sight, and by the time we're gone and done filling up gas, the place will just be full. So,
I won't ask you to sing the song, but you've done Oscar Mayer proud, you guys. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Our 1971 Dodge Charger RT has gone from this to this.
All the little pieces are starting to come together.
The restoration of the last Hemi is next on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.
Handling classic and high-performance vehicles requires an industry-leading team of experts. Welcome to RK Motors Charlotte. Industry-leading means meticulous attention to detail when servicing every vehicle. It means a consignment service so fine-tuned that a successful sale at maximum value is all but guaranteed. And a rigorous inspection on every vehicle before its tires even touch our sales floor. It's all this and more that make RK Motors Charlotte the industry leader. Visit rkmotorscharlotte.com.
From start to finish, it's the restoration of the last Hemi. The last Hemi arrived at RK Motors Restoration looking like this. After taking the 1971 Dodge Charger RT apart, organizing the parts, and then sending the chassis off to be dipped, the last Hemi has a very different look.
The shell has been cleaned, all paint, any old body work, everything that could have been on the metal has now been removed, is clean, is rust-free, and it's exposing all the rust issues and all the areas where there is no metal left. So since that now comes a part of taking and buying, finding, supplying us with the correct Chrysler sheet metal to get it all back in fresh, perfect, ready to be dipped. Again, which they'll do a quick dip just to clean off any of the oils that we get on it, any of the contaminants that could be on it, so they can e-coat it, which will put a nice black film over everything. And since it's dipped in that, it gets in all the cracks, crevices, inside the frame rails, underneath the dash, all those little spots where a conventional spray gun could not reach. Everything has been started to be gone through now, and we're sandblasting little items, cleaning them up, seeing what can be reused, trying to make sure that all the correct headed bolts go back where they should be. They'll be plated correctly. If they were a black phosphate plating, they'll get phosphated. If they were a cadmium plating, they're gonna get cadmium. All that has been started, and all the little pieces are starting to come together. And the next step is gonna be cutting out all the holes and putting in all fresh new metal.
For more on the restoration of the last Hemi, visit our website at thelasthemi.com.
When it comes to restoring or servicing your classic or high-performance car, expertise is the name of the game. And that's precisely what you'll find at RK Motors. You'll find our expertise in the attention to detail that can only be acquired through years of working on world-class builds. You'll also find our expertise in the RKM Performance Center, where we've assembled a team of highly qualified ASE-certified mechanics. When expertise is the name of the game, trust the experts at RK Motors. Visit rkmotorscharlotte.com.
Now back to the Cleveland Autorama on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. We've heard a lot of stories in doing our show, Bob. I can honestly tell you I've not heard one that gets to us as much as yours. Your rat rod's supposed to have a unique, interesting look, but it's not supposed to look like this.
Not supposed to be burnt.
What happened?
Been working on it for a year now, getting it all ready for the Autorama. Finished 2 weeks early, and I knew that was a bad omen because the night before the show, there was an electrical fire and the car was set ablaze in the shop, and we didn't know it was burning until the next morning when we went to hook it up and get it ready for the show.
So a day, 2 days before the show.
The evening before the show, it burned.
It burned. You brought it out anyway. I give you a lot of credit.
Well, there's a saying that says when you're given lemons, you're supposed to make lemonade. I promised Ron I would have a unique car here for him, and apparently it's a little more unique than we thought. I almost cried when I saw the car.
Bob, I have to give you credit for having a sense of humor through this entire mess, because you hit a button and your car that caught on fire starts smoking like crazy.
Yeah, you know, you got to get a good sense of humor and roll with the punches. And so I brought the fog machine out, and everybody thinks the car is on fire, including the fire marshal. They come running over here.
And you told him you were a little late?
Yeah. Hopefully we can fix it.
It still looks good. I know it's not what you want, and we know it's damaged, but thanks for bringing it out.
You're
and
welcome.
Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. We had the banana car, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, which I've always wanted to see, and a freshly fried rat rod, all in the same episode of Cruise In. So depending on your perspective, we've either reached a new high or a new low on Cruise In, which we're pushing the envelope either way, so that's probably a good thing. I'm Jeff Phelps. We'll see you next time on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.